Greetings and welcome to an LGR thing, and today we're going to be making some toast with this. This is the R2 toast, a mid-tower ATX computer case. We're going to build a computer. A crummy turn of events for this particular channel, I know. I never build computers, but yeah, we're building one, and it's going into the toast, the GMC R2, actually, with its patented vertical optical disk drive bay. Hey, yeah, the disks go in there like a toaster, hence the name, with the optical media area being illuminated as well with blue LEDs. Still a stylish and fresh look back when this thing came out, and that was in 2008 when it retailed for $49.95, at least for a little bit before dropping $10 the following year. But either way, it was a budget case designed by GMC and distributed by Ausintech, both being companies in South Korea, with Ausintech in particular mostly being known more for their audio stuff, so a lot of sound cards, microphones, and audio interfaces and speakers, lots of X-Fi things licensed from Creative Labs, and both companies seemingly went defunct somewhere around 2013. So anyway, before that though, they made a number of these R2 cases. Many years ago, I got the one I have in black, but they also made them in white, orange, hot pink, lime green, ocean, and sky blue. A pretty appealing lineup. I kind of wish I'd found any of the other colors, but I didn't. It also had some mid-tower sister cases sold at the same time, like the R3 Corona, a name that hasn't necessarily aged the best in the intervening years, but you know, I have one of those too. I don't know, I thought the R2 Toast looked a little more appealing, although they both have that front optical drive thing going on, just it's the other way around on the R3. Then they also had the R4 Bulldozer. This thing just looks completely nuts. It's effectively just an R3 with extra plastic on top. I mean, it looks absurd though, just industrial nonsense, but the same optical drive pointing downward. Yeah, anyway, back to the R2 that I actually have. And this does have that vertical drive bay up front. Just one 5¼ inch drive bay, that's all you get, and two 3.5 inch drive bays internal. Also supporting the largest graphics cards of the time, up to 270 millimeters in length. The biggest card back then was probably the 9800 GTX at 267 millimeter in length, but yeah, nowadays an RTX 4090 can reach up to 358 millimeters, so times have changed. But back in 2008, it was more a reasonable size, and the reviews were pretty reasonable as well. In fact, it got quite a bit of praise for its unique design, as you'd imagine, and also people stating that it had better quality than expected for the low price point. But main issues being brought up by all kinds of folks were airflow and fan placement concerns, no air filters, very few optical drive bays or expansion options overall, even for its size, and the fact that discs are apparently prone to either falling into a slot on the front of the case where you don't really want it to, or falling out the front when inserting and ejecting, just due to the vertical nature of it. So that would be interesting to see. But yeah, in terms of the PC that I'm going to be building inside of here, I'm not going to go too crazy. I really mostly just want to see the optical drive doing its thing, but I did have some hardware lying around from another build you might have seen on the channel. I did this Altair 8800 clone PC build, effectively just in the empty part of the case years ago, and didn't really ever use it much again. The Altair, yes, but not the PC side of things, so eventually I just took those components out of there and they've been sitting ever since. This is a pretty bare bones setup even back then, but it's even more woefully out of date now, of course, with that motherboard and CPU, integrated GPU, and tiny SSD being pretty underwhelming. But again, don't really care too much for this particular build, and it is still running Windows 10, although it had like 5 years of updates to catch up on, so I let that go for the weekend, and eventually it caught itself up. That being said, I did take this chance to double the RAM to a faster set with 16 gigs total. I was actually using the RAM modules that were originally meant for the Pyramid PC build that I did also years ago, but they didn't fit like physically in there, but I've had those hanging around ever since, so I'm just gonna use them. And also turn off RGB because what the heck, the toasty optical drive is enough flash. I don't need lights too. Also went ahead and added a USB AC 600 Wi-Fi adapter for convenience sake. It only had Ethernet previously. I don't feel like plugging in more cables right now. And finally, we've got an optical drive. We're going to use a Serial ATA Blu-ray burner that I hope it's going to fit. I don't actually know. It's another thing I noticed in some of the reviews. People were saying that not all optical drives are compatible because of button placement and the drive bay itself being really close with the way the tray comes out. And we're just gonna see, so let's go ahead and see. All right. Well, that sure is a look in person. It's about the size of a 5 1/4 inch drive on its own right there. Definitely feels pretty flimsy, especially the plastic. But you know, it was a cheaper case. Got some ports, USB 2, I assume. Microphone, headphone, reset button, power switch right there. Ooh, that's interesting. LED lights right there. And yeah, eject. Don't know how that's gonna work. Rather small fan slot on the side there. I think it's 80mm fans this takes. One up here, one here, one in the back. And there we go. Pretty normal otherwise. Really is just that whole front panel, you know? You do at least have thumb screws. They don't stay in, but wow, those feel like they're, what are they made of? The actual part that screws in is metal, but yeah, those are plastic. Wow. I mean, you know, I know it was cost reduced. Ooh, man. Some of these metals are razor sharp. The old reviews weren't kidding. It is rounded here and here, but like these other bits are, woof, yeah, that will cut. We got an ad for the bulldozer. Oh my goodness. I sure do wish I'd have been able to find one of those. Oh, hey, look. There's all the rest of the line too. Look at that. Yeah, bulldozer, the Corona, the Toast. These other ones though, I haven't heard of this one. The K1 Muse. I have seen this one as well. It's like a hi-fi thing. It has a VFD and an LCD. Bunch of hi-fi looking stuff too. I guess almost a server looking deal here. And the X22. And then you have these like AV ones. Really interesting cases. If anybody has those, let me know. Okay, I got a user manual here, 23 pages. Welcome, congratulations on your purchase of an innovative, patent-protected PC case. They really wanted to make sure you knew that they had patented the optical disk drive. Nice, easy to read diagrams and instructions here for the install. I mean, at first glance anyway. And yeah, in terms of the case, yeah, just standard bunch of connections there. We do have a fan in the back. And that's about it. Oh, you can put a fan on the bottom too, interesting. So there's actually another fan slot or two than I thought there would be. Because I think there's one. No, it doesn't actually look like there is a space to put one. I thought there was going to be another, like a, I don't know, something. That's also mention of like a front fan, or maybe it was people mentioning that there wasn't a front fan. Anyway, the idea of cooling is supposed to be like air coming through here, and then maybe the bottom and then exiting like here. You can put another fan here or a side fan for the exhaust. I'm not too worried about that considering what we're putting in here. I got some neat little accessories. Ooh, a little PC speaker. Little piezoelectric beeper deal. Bunch of screws, mounting hardware and all that. Oh yeah, I think these are actually for the optical drive. This is gonna be interesting. Let's get the front of the case off and see what in the heck we gotta do. Well, that's what that is. Just a spot for the drive to mount down here and pokes through here. And these little plastic bits, they are adhesive parts to screw onto the drive to hold the disc in place so it doesn't fall out. I guess that depends on the drive you're installing, because a number of older optical media drives have such a thing built in. Yeah, definitely not as much on this one as you would see on older CD-ROMs in particular. You have these little flip-out plastic bits that would really hold a disc in if it were installed sideways. I don't know, this isn't gonna do too much. Yeah, I mean, it's, well, you know, that's a little better, I guess. The little plastic bits closer to the bottom. We'll see. Yeah, I guess that'll work, as long as it's mounted right up against it. If your button was anywhere else, that would not work. This is so strange. Well, just vertically in there, and I have to pop out this little cover. Okay. And I think we just leave it off. After installing the drive, remove the cover before the panel's back, and doesn't say anything about putting the cover back on. It just shows it off there. Why is there a cover at all if it's not supposed to snap back onto the drive? It's wider on the top there than it is the bottom, so it really wouldn't, I don't know, work. Yeah, it's definitely hitting the button there, so thank goodness that's in the right place. And there seems to be enough clearance for the drive to get out of there too, just enough. All right, well at this point what remains are just normal computer case things. Looks like this is the LED that illuminates the optical drive bay. That'll be interesting. All right, it's got a bunch of standoffs in there already, although for, looks like full-sized ATX, so. I don't know where my I/O plate went for this thing. I might still have it somewhere, but, you know, I'm gonna go look really quick. I think I threw the box of like stuff that came with this away like 6 years ago. Yeah, no, just went and looked in the basement. That sucker's long gone. If I really need an I/O plate, oh yeah, maybe I can find one online or just 3D print one or something. Crap, Molex. I don't have Molex attached to that modular power supply, so I gotta try to find those cables too. Just get all this other crap plugged in the meantime. Front panel nonsense. Not many places for these cables to go, management-wise, but I'll clean it up later. All right, I'm gonna see if I can find those Molex modular bits from a different power supply, but it'll do. This will be for our LEDs, or the fan and the front LED illumination thingy. And I've also got the power to the optical drive as well. Gotta go in here. That's it. There's no hard drive because we just have that SSD going on there. And there's no GPU, just relying on, seriously about cut myself on that too. That is so sharp. All right, yeah, just relying on integrated, because who cares for this? So, let me get this plugged in real quick. Just give that stupid drive a try. All right, power in. Let's see how this goes. Well, uh-oh. Well, the fan is spinning up and other things, but we have concerning beeping and no LED. Let's just try. Well, that works, so that's good. And it is clearing the opening, so yeah, there's nothing from the light strip at all. Nah, still nothing. Plugged into a different port too, or a different power cable. Yeah, okay, well, something's weird. Well, I'm gonna go troubleshoot and I'll be back soon. Alrighty, well, everything is now working, thankfully, but it took a minute. The beeping was simple enough. The motherboard here just demands that a keyboard be plugged in to even start, so with that plugged in, it's all good in that respect. The LEDs, on the other hand, which are on at the moment, let me get another angle here. Yeah, those refused to light from any connector or modular Molex power cable I tried. That rear exhaust fan powered up just fine, but nothing at all from the LEDs. So I removed the lighting module from the case and checked for any loose or broken connections. All was well. Then checked under the heat shrink tubing to be sure there was a resistor where it should be. You just never know, and yep, that there was. It turns out the LEDs worked perfectly when I tested again with an external power adapter though, which Now that I thought about it, that fan is 5 volts and the LED module only uses the left two 12-volt pins. So I checked the voltage on the PC and sure enough, there was no 12-volt power coming through Molex, only 5. Even after swapping out cables and trying other modular outputs, the only rail that I got 12-volt power coming through was the 4-pin floppy and also through SATA. So yeah, I've got a SATA to Molex adapter going, and yay, we've got light now that again you can't see. It's actually not the brightest of blue LEDs, but it's there. In the dark it looks much better, of course, and it's just enough light to see our optical media holding solution, which still is not ideal. I tried more stuck-on plastic pieces to the tray and adjusting them a little bit, and I can never really find a perfect solution using just these little plastic pieces. There's either too much plastic in the way of the disc and it made getting the disc in and out hard, or there wasn't enough and it would just fall out. So really the best solution I have found so far is tilting the case up just a little bit from the front so the discs aren't angled to fall out immediately. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just a case at this point. It just happened to have a cool optical drive solution that I'm not really going to be using for the rest of this video. But anyway, we do have some things to try out on here just for fun. Unreal Tournament 2004, why not? This computer is not exactly the fastest, but it's more than enough for older games. Yeah. The power of optical disk drives that I'm not using. I do have some ideas for some things I could use this for. I've been going through my collection, getting more and more stuff out of storage, as always, recently. Yeah, going through and like backing up, archiving a lot of stuff that I really just have never bothered, you know, making sure is like I have a good copy of it. Audio CDs, programs, games, a whole bunch of stuff. And so, yeah, you know, this might be fun to set up as sort of another way to do that, or another box where I'm doing that. I've just been doing that elsewhere with an external drive. But yeah, I also might just set this up down there as sort of a workbench PC. I don't know. It depends on how annoyed I get with the whole optical drive situation there, because I don't know. Like I said, right now it's sort of like at a slight angle, it's fine, but the idea might be cooler than the actual execution, especially if I'm going to be repeatedly taking a bunch of discs in and out. And hey, we've also got that USB port up there, so it can plug in a controller and run, let's see, Crazy Taxi.
Here we go. Taxi.
This is not a necessary test or anything. I just felt like playing Crazy Taxi. Alright, that's enough craziness. How about some Crysis? Because it can play it. And since I added more RAM to this, it allowed us to bump up what the integrated graphics chip, the Intel thingy, is able to utilize for its own graphics memory and whatnot. I don't know, it seems to work better, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, like, you know, it's still the computer that it is, so performance is not incredible. But it's definitely better with fewer graphical glitchy weirdness and, you know, more stable performance overall. Don't you dare, he did. Ugh. Yeah, man, Crysis. Amazing what doubling the RAM to 16 gigs can do. Just imagine what this could do with a real GPU. And hey, I mean, we got it in a case now that makes sense for that, sort of, so. And lastly, I mean, it's not quite toast, but it is a toast adjacent. I am bread. Become toast. Anyway, yeah, your objective is, I think, to become toast here. And you just start off as a a slice of bread and try to avoid the floor. So, you know, you don't want to become completely inedible. And just sort of flop around the kind of a quap line of thinking here for the controls. Oh no, I'm gonna hit the floor? Nope. This actually kind of works even worse than Crysis does. Especially in terms of the input lag. It's very, very bad. Oh no, come on. I'm going to become toast. Dang it. Now, get into that dang toaster. Yes. Yes. I'm toast. Yay. That was not great. But, you know, an appropriate game if there ever was one for the toast machine. Yeah, well, I guess that's about it for this particular toasty PC build, rebuild, whatever it is. And yeah, it did actually take a little bit of time to go through and perform some much needed cable management. We are really spoiled nowadays. I mean, you know, we were back then too with nicer cases, but even lower end cases now have much better cable management areas of opportunity to stuff things away behind the motherboard tray and in little areas that are specifically made for managing cables. This thing has none of that, but anyway, it's much better now and ready for something else in the future. Like I said, it'd be kind of cool to put a NVIDIA 980 or something like that. It might be kind of fun to do, you know, because it's just not a very fast system. It's not supposed to be. It doesn't need to be, but I just think it'd be kind of fun. So maybe we'll do that. And you know, if I ever do run across one of those bulldozer cases that GMC made, I would 100% drop this thing in a heartbeat for that. That thing just looks fantastically silly. Or maybe I would just build another one in addition to it. I don't know, I kind of like these GMC cases, despite their cheapness, but that's sort of what they were meant to be. Lower cost, but interesting, with a patented optical disc drive mechanism and mounting solution. And on that note, yeah, it actually does seem to be pretty stable now, relatively, with those feet I added to really get the angle correct, because otherwise, yeah, discs were just dropping out the front. Also wish that button was a little easier to actually go in there, because you have to really, really press it in and get it to thunk on the button of the optical drive. It's a little iffy. Yeah, as cool as a gimmick as it is, though, I don't really see much of an advantageous reason to have your optical disc drive oriented vertically like that. If anything, it's more of a disadvantage. It certainly makes it a little more awkward and trouble prone getting your discs in and out of there and having to get the angle correct and all that. Plus, you don't have any expansion possibilities for other 5¼ inch drives in case you want that. You know, I certainly did back then, audio interfaces and stuff like that, in addition to your regular optical media burner situation. It's just the fact that it looks cool and it's something different, and yeah, it's just a fun gimmick. So I'm gonna continue keeping it around and using it for something because of that. It's in there now, I may as well, right? And I don't know, do something else with it in the meantime, because it's just a neat looking case. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed seeing this come together as a build such as it is and all of its odd features. Let me know if you ever had one of these or something else from this company in the comments. I'm curious how widespread this brand was, but I don't think it was from what I can tell. Either way though, I hope you stick around for more LGR things in the works, and as always, thanks for watching.